Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you from wherever you join us from. We thank you once again for joining our BCA webinar series on this day, September the 12th. This session today shall be 90 minutes, and we will try to cover everything that we have here for you today. This webinar is brought to you, as usual, from the stables of Bainer Capability Academy Africa. Africa is the capability development arm of Bainer Maintenance and Reliability Services. We are in all the maintenance and reliability consulting and training services. Today, our topic presenter is Kelechi Amamba. He's popularly called KC. He's a friend of the house, well learned, and he has quite a couple of globally acceptable certifications. He's the site lead of Upfield Nigeria, and he has had quite a handful of years as engineering manager. He's very experienced and very highly skilled. He's well traveled and he has worked across many barriers. So today is a good opportunity for all of us to listen to him and learn from his experience. Before I hand over to him, I would like to remind all of you that our social media, our company social media handles are here. If you can see my cursor, our social media handles are here, and there are links behind each of these icons. When you receive the slides in PDF later, you should simply just click any of these links, and the links take you directly to the social media handles, and you can like, follow, or subscribe to us. For the YouTube, the bell icon so that you can be notified of any videos that we have available. Before I forget, Kelechi's contacts are all here. His social media account handles, the addresses are all here under each of these icons that are here. You can click them at any point in time and to follow him. His email address is also here and his phone number is here, so you can reach him after this session to ask him whatever additional questions that you have. As we prepare to start now, please unmute your mics. We do not want any background music or noise. If you don't, we will do it for you. The presentation time. If you have any questions related to this presentation topic, please be kind to post the questions in the Q&A pane. Please, not in the chat pane. Drop your questions related to this topic in the Q&A area, not in the chat area, because of control, so that we can be able to control our questions and channel our energies, which is the topic of today. The webinar slides, these webinar slides and the video recording shall be sent to all of you within the next 48 hours after this session. If there are any questions that we could not answer live on the program today, we shall collate all of them and prepare responses that we will send to all of you alongside the slides and the video. But all these resources will go to only those who attend, not those who register. It will go to only those who attend. Certificate is available for this session. It's a free session, so certificate is available on demand, and it shall cost 2,000 Naira only for anybody who requests this. When we send you the resources within the next 48 hours, we will also indicate our account number, our business account number for you to pay the 2,000 naira. I've attended any previous session before, and you need a certificate for any of those past sessions. You can also pay and let us put webinar certificate you want, and we'll get it for you. Without wasting Kelechi at this point. Casey, are you there?
Yes, Malam, I can hear
You
you.
there to take?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
So,
much, Malam Ibrahim.
thank
Really
you.
appreciate this wonderful opportunity. I'm super excited to be here. Just a little addition about what I do and where I work. I work at Upfield. Upfield is the largest plant-based foods company in the world, and it's the leading producer of margarines globally. At Upfield, we envisage a better plant-based future, and we are working to deliver our purpose to make people healthier and happier with nutritious, great tasting products that are good for you and good for the planet. Most of you already know Blue Band, but Upfield owns iconic products that include Rama, Flora, Country Crock, I Can't Believe It's Butter, and Violife. We continue to innovate to add on more great tasting products to our portfolio. Our purpose drives everything we do, and it is that purpose that drives what I'm doing right now to make an impact and help people. It is my aim to help you today to understand your personal energy sources and how you can manage them for your own success. I realize that many of those who have joined this session are working for private firms and multinationals. Some work with government agencies, while others are entrepreneurs. You are all welcome. The fact that you joined this session indicates that you are goal or results driven. That's what high performing talents or people are known for. And high performing individuals make high performing organizations. An organization does not produce results on its own. It is the great talent that you have in the organization that makes a great organization great. No doubt, you want to consistently add value to your organization and deliver excellence all day long and all year round, such that at the end of each business year, when they mention your name, it comes with a great rating. Or in the business world, if you're an entrepreneur, you would be someone readily reckoned with. Today, we will unlock some secrets that would never be taught in any time management course. Why is that? Time is finite. To humans, it is finite, but to God, it is infinite. It's a continuum from eternity to eternity. But for humans, we only have 24 hours each day. If you lose any part of your 24 hours, can you renew it? Can you get it back? Never. You cannot renew your time. How about energy? Your energy level determines how productive you can be with what you have set out to do with your time. Hence, I recommend that you manage your energy because it helps you use your time and your life well. That is why some people who have worked on energy projects, human or personal energy projects, would always tell you manage your energy, not your time. But I would say manage your energy because it helps you use your time well. Your personal energy levels are like rechargeable batteries. Now, when you look at the slide in front of you, you would see four, four items that look like batteries. So each of these are dimensions of energy in a human. So we have the physical, we have the mental, we have the emotional, we have the spiritual, and of course later on I'll tell you one that has been recently added to these dimensions that has made it 5. But most people know these 4. Now, what does this mean for us? As you can see on the screen, those energy levels are depicted as batteries. It tells us or hints us that your personal energy levels are like rechargeable batteries. And with this, it shows you what managing each of these correctly can help you do. It can enable you to lead a very a very sane life. By sane, what do we mean? It means that when you're able to recharge your energy levels correctly, you will be able to be a source of energy to others. You'll be able to lead exceptional performance at work and at home. You'll be able to have an improved quality of life. You'll be able to have greater resilience and agility and be able to influence workmates, peers, friends, family, and the society at large. Now imagine what it will look like if you know how you look at your phone and you see on top of your phone the battery level, and when it's going down, you know you need to recharge. Imagine that you could see these energy levels for each person and yourself. Can you imagine that? Imagine that you could see the amount of charge that you have left the way you see it on your phone. How easy would life be? Will it not be very easy? You'll be able to know which energy dimension you need to recharge. But it's not that straightforward, and that's why we need some training to understand how we can manage our energy levels effectively, such that we are well rounded from performance to quality of life to our influence and our resilience. So let's clarify some basics, because in this session, you're going to hear a lot about the word energy. So let's define it. What is energy? In physics, energy is defined as the capacity to work. Some of you, or many of you who have science and engineering backgrounds, would know that definition. But if we want to simplify it, we can say it is the ability to do work. Now, if you look at this image here, you would see a famous equation by Albert Einstein, who said that energy is equal to mc square, where c is the speed of light, which usually is constant, and m is mass or matter. So energy is directly related to matter or mass. However, when you look at this picture, you see that someone has simplified that complex subject into a, a very interesting equation using coffee and milk, right? So it's supposing that you could get energy by drinking milk with a square portion of coffee. While that helps some people to gain an unsustainable level of energy and alertness, the same as what some people say they get when they use tobacco or when they use ganja, we will focus on how to derive our energy in a healthy, non-substance abusive way that is clean and renewable. I repeat, clean and renewable, just like solar energy. So from what I just said, it's interesting to note that we can then define personal energy. So what then is personal energy? So personal energy is said to be the amount of willpower you have. It is the amount of effort you are capable of giving within your mind and body to things, to people, or to challenges. It is the power within you to fulfill your priorities. It is the amount of physical and mental strength you have to do what your mind and body want you to do. The good news, as you see here, is that personal energy can be systematically expanded and regularly renewed. So, personal energy is renewable and sustainable, and we can get to know what we can do to ensure this. Now, let's also note, as I mentioned at the beginning, that our personal energy springs directly from five main sources or well springs that we need to be consciously aware of. Okay, but then let's look a little more about personal energy and personal energy management. Why is it called personal energy? It's called personal energy because it's your energy. No one is in charge of your energy but you. You decide how often to top it up, whether to drain it, or what to spend it on, and how you share it. As you can see from this illustration here, your personal energy derives from your thoughts, your words, your actions, your beliefs, and interestingly, from other people's energy and how you resonate with others and around others. Now, your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, words, choices, and actions are things that subconsciously affect your energy levels. So there are times when you will feel you have an enormous amount of energy, like after a great time with friends or loved ones, or after a good, refreshing night's sleep. And there are times when you feel like you have no energy at all. Like when you have to do something you know you are not good at, you start worrying, how do I do this? What do I do? And your energy levels begin to drop and drop and drop. And if not careful, it drains. So we've talked about personal energy. Now, it's important to note that personal energy can be managed. What is personal energy management? It is clear that personal energy is yours, right? Now, personal energy management is the conscious recognition of how you spend your energy and the action required to renew your energy in order to maintain the right energy level or balance sustainably. Yes, that's personal energy management. What I have found is that personal energy is contagious. Have you observed that you unconsciously smile when someone approaches you with a smile? Or that when someone in the room yawns, others are likely to follow? It is also true that the energy you radiate can resonate with others and vice versa, meaning that the energy that others radiate around you can also impact you, whether you know it or not. Now, your goal is to use your positive energy to uplift those who are low, to lift yourself when you realize that you are low, or to find those that can help lift you up when you are low. In summary, the goals of personal energy management, the goals of personal energy management are the following. To be aware of how much personal energy you have, whether it is high or low, to know what ignites your personal energy, to know what depletes it, and how to react to that depletion, and to understand how you can build your energy up when you really need some energy. Now, we go to our first poll. It is time to have our poll for the day, our first poll of the day coming up. We would like to find out some things about how you understand your personal energy level during the course of the day. Malam, can we have the poll now, please? So 84% of us voted and 61% of us say that we are usually conscious of our energy levels through the course of the day. That's fantastic. 6% of us do not know at all, while 33% are not sure. Okay, very good. Thank you very much for your candid feedback. We will take the next poll. A second question is coming up. Please feel free to quickly give us your answers, your honest, candid answers. Okay. Poll number 2 launching right now. 59% of us say that when we feel drained or lack energy, they usually know what to do to regain personal energy. 17% do not know, 26% are not sure. We thank you for the candid opinion. All right. So, what does this mean when we look at the poll results and what we know generally about people and their personal energy recognition? It is clear that there's a need for people to manage their personal energy and understand what they need to do to bring it back up whenever it is waning or flailing. So here we will talk about the importance of personal energy management. Now you see this person. This person has fire on the person's head. Battery level is low. Now this is what you call burnout. A lot of people feel this way because a number of companies have downsized or restructured in response to COVID-19. Some have frozen hiring as a result of this COVID-19. So the few people that are available have to take on more work to drive productivity. So people tend to put in more hours, some from 14 to 16 hours at work, and silently suffer from burnout or stress due to workload. COVID-19 has brought on more unanticipated difficulties and challenges than the world was prepared for. Many of us have experienced social isolation, job loss, sickness, and mourning, which is why in Nigeria, for example, and many parts of the world, people cannot wait for COVID-19 to pass. They are ready to carry on with their normal lives, party, and do whatever they can do to find joy. Some businesses took the hit as their relevance declined. Some entrepreneurs humbly became entrepreneurs in order to adapt. Others are still struggling without having a clear way out. Given all these changes, it is not surprising that some of the symptoms of poor mental health have started to feel or seem normal. For example, when a person has a change in his appetite or does not have the motivation to exercise or does not sleep very well, people tend to ignore those changes, thinking that they are normal responses to a situation that is not exactly normal. So, what can we expect having taken this training session? We do not want to burn out. When we don't manage our personal energy, this is what happens. But when we manage our personal energy, we get all of these benefits. So, despite the tons of issues that we know and have been highlighted, it is possible to stay productive. It is possible to live a balanced life between home and work. It is possible to stay mentally agile and resilient and stay healthy and vibrant and above all, deliver consistent, excellent results when we manage our personal energy. So when we manage our personal energy, we avoid burnout, we are productive, we are healthy and happy, we are balanced at work and at home, we are mentally agile and resilient, and we give our best at work. Now, we would now try to understand what the dimensions of personal energy are that we need to manage to deliver exceptional results consistently. So as you can see on the screen, there are 5 of them. We call them the dimensions or well springs of personal energy. I mentioned at the start that 4 of them are popular. Okay, 4 of them are popular. And what are those 4? Physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, and spiritual energy. But here we have included a 5th dimension, which is the social or relational energy. And we'll delve right in to discuss them one after the other. Let's start with the first one, emotional energy. It speaks to how your body feels. It derives from your ability to express a wide range of emotions, both positive and negative. So our emotions can take an upward spiral or a downward spiral. When we want to build our emotions up, you find out that when we express contentment, hopefulness, optimism, positive expectation, enthusiasm, passion, we begin to feel joy. And when we apply what we know and show appreciation and love, we find out that we are in energy mode, high emotional energy mode. Okay. Now, when this high energy begins to tumble, it tumbles because people feel bored. People begin to feel pessimism, like when is this COVID situation going to ever go away? Who's working on the vaccine? Will it ever work? When people are frustrated because of all the issues we've mentioned and we know, they're irritated, they're impatient, or when they are overwhelmed with what they need to do, responsibilities, loans to pay, troubles in marriage, maybe they have a difficult spouse, they feel disappointed, they have doubts, they're worried, they only are thinking of how to blame somebody else. They're feeling discouraged, anger. They're thinking of how to take revenge. Hatred is welling up in their hearts. There's jealousy, there's strife, insecurity, or when they've lost someone in death, people's emotion can just spiral. Now, you would never find a human that is always on an upward spiral that doesn't have a downward spiral. If you have a person who is always like this all the time, that person is superhuman. Okay? But then when a person stays on the downward spiral, it can lead to depression, it can lead to terrible health status, it can even lead to suicide. Yesterday was World Suicide Day, and a lot of people created awareness by, reaching out to loved ones and trying to, help people stay connected. Now, all of that speaks to our emotion, trying to be emotionally intelligent, because those are the things that enable us manage our emotions such that when it is on the upward spiral, we can maintain it, and when it is going down, we can bring it back up. Emotional intelligence enables us to make resilient choices and helps us understand when negative emotions are welling up and when to express it and when to diffuse it. And it also helps us fuel positive emotions in ourselves and in others. Now, when someone has lost someone in death, it is not proper to tell the person not to cry. The person needs to express that emotion, because after expressing the emotion and getting to the downward spiral, the person relieves himself or herself to now begin to become hopeful with the encouragement of people around. It is very difficult for a lot of people to find what to say when they go to someone who's grieving or someone who has lost someone in death. But just being there with the person and saying sorry and saying, don't worry, all hope is not lost, can help give the person some optimism, some hope that can bring the person's emotion back up. Now let's look at work and family life. Think about a time when someone made a negative comment or criticized or chastised you about something, and you kept thinking about what that person said. You begin to feel stressed, you begin to worry, you begin to get angry at the person's comment. What happens to your energy level? It begins to drain, it begins to deplete. If you allow that emotion to linger, you may end up transferring the ill feeling or aggression to others because you are very irritable at that point. Sometimes you may even feel confused and frustrated while trying to take care of other responsibilities. Whereas, let's say you get a thank you note or a call from somebody who is 2 levels up, or from a customer that says, hey, you're doing a great job, well done. How do you feel? You feel like a superstar, right? You are happy and you feel so much energy that you want to do more. That is how our emotions enable energy to well up or drain from us. Sometimes we can choose how we react to certain situations. If someone says something insulting to you, the natural response is to insult the person back. We want to give tit for tat. But someone who is emotionally intelligent will think about his or her response and make a choice, a resilient choice that might enable him or her diffuse that negative emotion or tension that is welling up at that time. And you find out that if you do that, rather than feel disappointed in yourself, because when we react rashly, sometimes we end up with regrets, which is another negative emotion. We rather will be happy that we were able to diffuse the tension that came up at that time with by applying our emotional intelligence, or what some people call emotional quotient. So that's emotional energy in practice. Let's talk about our mental energy. Our mental energy derives from what we do with our mind. It derives from having a clear, focused mind that is ready and open to learn. Now, some people are not able to expand their mind because they do not invest the time required to read. They do not spend time to reflect, to learn from their experiences, or to learn from other people's experiences. They rather want to learn from their own experience. When you learn from your own experience, you drain yourself mentally because at that point, you are not able to move forward. You're retrospecting versus planning and moving forward with your life. So, for you to have a very sound mental energy, you need to be able to choose perspectives and adapt yourself. And of course, one important factor that governs how our mind works is our belief system. So, some people tend to say, I have always known things like this since I was growing up, or my forefathers said it was like this and they want to keep it that way. For a person to continue to move forward mentally, one has to be ready to unlearn certain things, relearn, and move forward with their lives. Sometimes you have to exert your mental energy by challenging certain things that you have been told, like the status quo. I remember when I was growing up, I usually hear the expression that when a person is cooking bitter leaf, that by putting the bitter leaf in the pot of soup and stirring it, it will make the soup bitter, more bitter. And so we went along with those stories for a very long time until one day I started asking myself, what about this spoon makes the soup more bitter? And as I continued to wash bitter leaves to make soup, I began to realize that the bitterness in the leaf is a function of how much energy I exert in washing it. So if I wash it very well, the more of the bitterness will go away. But if I don't wash it very well, the bitterness will be there and it will reflect in the soup. So I began to ask questions. And when nobody could challenge or or tell me that what I was thinking scientifically was wrong, I then realized that a lot of people just simply went along with what they have been told or what they have known all along without asking questions or challenging what they know. So sometimes these belief systems could make people hold back from moving forward mentally, and they tend to feel drained, whereas they could unblock their minds and move forward with their life. So in practice, to to have very sound mental energy, we need to again be able to spend time reflecting on what you know, reflecting on situations and taking the learnings from them and choosing the perspectives that you can pick from people's own personal life lessons and adapting your own accordingly. We will now move to the next dimension, which is physical energy. Now, physical energy pertains to the energy you feel in your body, your physical strength. It derives from the things you do to care for your body, such as adequate sleep, healthy and balanced diet, regular exercises, and connection with the environment. A number of people work from home, and so they tend to stay indoors all day, every day. Sometimes such persons might not step out of their house for days. But then, having sunshine is very good for your physical well being. So it's good to come out of the house, take a walk, exercise, feel the air. Now, some of the key enablers to get you physically fit is to understand when your energy level is waning because you are hungry. Some people can go on and keep working from morning till night without eating very good food or eating at regular intervals. That's not healthy. So it's good to eat or snack at regular intervals of 3 or 4 hours while drinking water regularly. Now, sometimes when you hear your stomach rumbling, you need to ask yourself, is it really hunger? Or if you take water, would that satisfy that feeling of, feeling a bit tired? And when you feel sleepy during the day, you may want to check how many hours you're able to sleep at night. If you're not sleeping very well for up to 7 hours for adults, you are going to find out that you may not be very productive during the day because at some point you begin to feel tired. And when you feel tired, you take more time doing what you could simply have done in a very short time. So, personal energy in practice requires that if you do not have the discipline to exercise by yourself, you can pay for a gym membership. So for some people that have paid for gym membership, knowing how much they've spent prompts them to go to the gym, whether 2 or 3 times in a week, to go and do some physical exercise. And they find out that it has been working very well for them. Okay. HR practitioners, if there are any of you in in this session, can support your teams by building breakout areas that they can go and spend time recharging. I know some companies that have invested in building breakout facilities where people can play table tennis, can play different games, eat and relax. Some even have a nap room where, you know, um, members of staff can just go when they feel tired to just take a 30 minutes or 1 hour nap and recharge themselves and come back feeling great. HR practitioners can subsidize gym membership for their staff or employees and encourage people to do midday workouts. The former company I worked for, it was a practice during the midday in Bayersdorf for people to come together and do planking or other workouts. And then During meetings, if a meeting is supposed to last for more than 90 minutes, at the 90-minute mark, it's very important to have an ergonomic break where people can take bathroom break or walk around before the meeting continues. That way, you can replenish your physical energy. All right, so we now move to the next dimension, which is the spiritual energy. Now, this derives from inspiration that people receive, or motivation, or meditation and prayer. It comes with connection with nature, things around us, or connection with the divine, the being higher than we are. When people are able to connect with their creator or with God, they have a greater sense of purpose and it drives them. And that is why in the scriptures, it pronounces happy those who are conscious of their spiritual need, those who know that they need their creator for guidance and go to him in prayer and read the inspired word to understand how to give their life direction. Now, people need to be able to answer questions, deep questions like, what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? Is this life all there is? Those are questions that perplex people for years, and it kind of drains them when it kind of drains them when they do not find meaning or answers to those kind of questions. So this is how spiritual energy derives. There's a satisfaction that comes from having a meaningful, purposeful life. We'll talk about that in a little while when we look at some hacks that can help us in details. Now, social or relational energy pertains to our ability to love, to care for people, to support ourselves, and to support others. Some people have gone to different extremes when it comes to how they relate with people. Some people believe they are introverts, they don't relate with people. Some people believe they're extroverts, they only care about other people and don't really care about themselves or for themselves. So people are beginning to promote self-love a lot versus, you know, just caring and loving or showing love to others. Now, it's important to have a balance because that is the only time we have meaningful connections with people and we can have intimate relationships with them and have a deep sense of belonging when we are with people. Now, we have been able to understand what are the different dimensions of energy and how we can understand them in practice. It is now time to understand what are some things that drain or waste our energy at home and at work. Okay. Now, as you can see on the screen, this is one person who has to do so many things. It is said that women are more adept at multitasking than men. While that is true, multitasking has its downsides. Multitasking undermines productivity, and this is proven. When people have to juggle so many things, they are not able to do as much as they could have done if they were focused at doing what needs to be done on hand. So think about your desk. Think about what you have to do every day. Are you able to take note of what needs to be done, list them out, create priorities, and take them one by one, that would enable you avoid the trap of multitasking. Let's go and see another energy drainer. It's called distractions. And in this time and age where our mobile devices can be an office, a mobile office with different social media applications popping for attention, it's easy to shift our attention from Twitter to LinkedIn to YouTube to Facebook, whichever is buzzing. Now, why is distraction expensive? It's expensive because when you're doing something and a call comes through or an email pops up or something flashes on your screen and you feel like attending to that thing, you find out that you increase the amount of time you would need to take to finish the task at hand by as much as 25%. If you have not personally taken note of this effect or phenomenon, start now to take note of it. It's because by the time you have left off something you were focused on trying to finish and you come back and you move to something else, you would have lost your flow. When you come back, you need to connect with your level of thinking that will enable you finish that work where you were before, and it takes time to switch. So that switching time is what you want to avoid spending. When you spend switching time, you have lost a part of your life you will never recover. So it is far more important, far more efficient and effective to try and give yourself 90 to 120-minute stretches at a time to focus and do work such that after 1 hour 30 minutes or 2 hours, you can stand up, take a break, stretch, take a snack or something, re-energize yourself, and then come back to take on some other tasks. Some other energy drainers are on the screen. They include inadequate nutrition, exercise, sleep, or rest. Now, because Netflix is very affordable, or we can share movie files, you know, with family and friends, people binge watch seasonal movies and all of that. And so they tend to sleep less because they want to catch up on the latest movies and they end up sleeping for 3 or 4 hours. When a person does this consistently, the person has sleep debts and would pay for it dearly. We do not want to get into that state where we are deprived of sleep and are not productive as a result. We do not want to fall into the category of people who believe that exercise is only meant for the elderly and for those who need lifestyle modification to survive. So we want to avoid lack of exercise, sleep, and rest. It's an energy waster or drainer. A lot of people also tend to skip breakfast, feeling they can catch up by eating lunch. Breakfast is said to be the most important meal of the day. Some people tell you to eat breakfast like a king and eat supper or dinner like a pauper. And it's with good reason because as we grow older, what our body requires changes. And breakfast gives your mind the nutrition you need to be able to be productive through the day until it's lunchtime. By eating your meals at regular intervals, you're able to recharge and not lose significant energy. When people do something for you and you fail to express appreciation, you drain their own energy, and by extension, you drain your own energy. Someone does something for you, you fail to say thank you. And the person does something again and you fail to say thank you. Now, how would the person feel about working with you or doing something? The person will feel not energetic. The person might just be doing the work as a routine, without energy, without some life, without any enthusiasm, because they don't feel appreciated. And as a manager or a boss or a colleague, you have to spend more energy to get the person to understand what you want the person to do for you. Imagine how much energy you'd have lost in the process of trying to explain in details to a person that is not feeling motivated or energized to work with you because the person feels unappreciated. Now, we've talked about lack of focus. I'll use the opportunity to talk about procrastination. Now, it is said to be a thief of time. It steals a person's life and it makes a person live a life of regret. It drains energy, especially when you remember that there are certain things you could have done that you did not do. A lot of people want to start a project, maybe a side hustle, something like a course that they can use to support people in the society. They want to spend time with family. They want to do different things, but they keep saying later, later, later. Later never comes. And when a person begins to imagine what would have been accomplished if the person had started maybe that business, maybe that project a while back, it drains a person's energy and prevents the person from moving forward into the future. Now, there are some people that find joy in certain activities. Maybe it's exercise, maybe it's hanging out with friends, maybe it's um, doing small projects that add joy or meaning to other people's life. Now, when a person replaces those activities that bring joy with round the clock work, it drains a person and makes the person to lack a sense of purpose or fulfillment. And so we want to watch out for those kind of energy wasters or drainers. So let's recap on our hacks, our tips for managing our various forms of energy. Let's start with the emotional energy. We have mentioned that negative emotions will come. C'est la vie. That is life. We cannot live in a bubble of positivity. The negative emotions will compete with our positive emotions. But when people bring on negative emotions, we want to diffuse them by practicing certain things we have seen have worked for us. For some people, deep breathing helps them take control of their energy and not reflect back a negative energy in resonance with a person that is projecting it. So by stopping and breathing in deeply, exhaling, breathing in deeply and exhaling for as much as 5 or 10 minutes, some people are able to take control of their emotion. Some people simply clench their fist and count 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. Now, when you practice something that enables you control your emotions, you're able to manage anxiety, irritability, impatience, and insecurity. You need to continue to diffuse negative emotions. Do not give space for it. Do not let it linger. It will come. If it's comes through eventually, do not let it linger. Find people with positive emotions or energies that will fuel your own emotions and thereby growing your positivity. Now, you can fuel your positive emotion by expressing gratitude. Some people have a practice of practicing gratitude each morning after they wake up or each night before they go to bed. Being able to think and reflect on the blessings from being alive, because you know so many people have died, you know. On the average, if you look at the death rate and understand it, you begin to understand, you begin to understand, you begin to understand why we need to express deep gratitude and appreciation. Some people write thank you notes to colleagues, to friends, to family members to express their deep appreciation, or send thank you emails or chat through any social media platform. Some people go on LinkedIn and express their appreciation for their workmates on LinkedIn to show publicly that they really appreciate what that colleague is doing or has done for the person. You always feel a depth of wellness when you're able to express gratitude. So practice it. If you have not if you have not been if you have not made this a practice or a way of life, now is the time to start it. I listened to a program some weekend ago, and I got a very wonderful tip on practicing gratitude. You know, when you have a list of everything you want to do, everything you want God to do for you, for example, you can you can create a list like that, for example, of people you want to show appreciation for. And as you are able to send thank you notes or emails or able to call them, you're able to tick them off. That way you do not forget. Some people put it in their calendars to remind them to do this. Now, when there's a situation that makes you upset, you can look at it through new lenses. You can ask yourself, was that situation as bad as would have warranted me to explode? If I look at that situation 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months from now, would I be proud of how I have reacted or would have reacted? When you use what we call reverse lens by thinking about when you look at the current situation in the future, would I be happy about it? Would I be proud of it? Then it may help you choose how to react to that situation. So, net, we're talking about emotional intelligence. We need to practice it. Now, what are some hacks you can put to use to keep your mental energy? You need to reduce interruptions. One way you can do this is by um, making sure that notifications are not popping up on your email on your phones. Some people set notification on their Telegram account, their WhatsApp account. All their accounts have notification. You just see notifications popping up, pop, 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 messages, messages, messages. Now, when a person has that kind of distraction scheduled for himself, the person will not be able to do tasks that require high concentration. So you need to reduce interruptions when you want to do high concentration tasks. Sometimes you may want to keep your phone away from you. Maybe keep the phone in maybe a sitting room if you're working in your room or you're working in your study or your personal workspace, such that calls, messages, and all that don't interrupt you until you're done. When you're done, you can then go back to pick your device and then message them. One way you can also help people who practice this energy management hack for mental energy is by not um, not criticizing them when they don't respond to your messages immediately you send them, because it may not be when they are with their phone. Maybe they are doing something that requires high concentration, and they only come to messages after they are done and can only respond to your messages at that time. Now, when you choose, for example, to come to your messages, chats, and emails at designated times during the day, so maybe you give yourself every 2 hours, you may find out that some things have been resolved in emails. So take some example. There's some issue that is going on. Somebody sends an email, somebody else replies. By the time you get to the email, you'd have seen 5 responses, and it was almost getting to resolution, or it has gotten to an escalation where you need to now react. Maybe you would have reacted the first time you saw the email, and maybe you may not have gotten some information as much, or clarity as much as you have gotten by coming to your emails not immediately, by responding to your emails not immediately you see them. But of course, emails are to be marked. Some people understand how to mark emails as important or very important, such that when managers or colleagues see an email marked with a certain level of importance, they know they have to check it immediately. You can also agree with your loved ones or family members or colleagues to help them understand how they can reach you in case of an emergency, for times when you are not having your phone with you or it's not handy. Now, what you can do to also help your mental energy is to practice reflection each night before you sleep, where you look at what are the things you have been able to accomplish for the day, note them mentally, and then write down what the priorities are for the next day. And when you now wake up and you're ready for work, you can now tackle the first priority immediately with the energy and attention that it deserves, because you're more focused at that time. Let's look at some physical energy hacks. You can enhance your physical energy by sleeping on time. They say early to bed, early to rise. Some people sleep late and they wake up late. Now, the pattern you have set is something that is hard to change when it becomes a habit over time. It takes a lot of work to change your sleeping habit. But if you realize you need to change it, by all means, start that effort to change it and get help by telling people around you that you want to sleep at a certain time and wake up at a certain time. Some people sleep earlier and wake up, they sleep around 8 or 9 and wake up around 3 or 4 or 5 a.m., depending on when they've slept, and are able to be focused mentally in those early hours when everywhere is cool and calm and quiet, and they're able to think through certain projects, certain tasks, and are able to break through in doing certain things that would have taken them lots of hours to do if there were so many distractions later on. Okay, you want to eat small meals at regular intervals, say 3 or 4 hours intervals. You want to be conscious of signs on your body that indicate that your energy level is waning. So when you feel restless, for example, or when you're yawning, or when you feel signs of hunger, or you find out that you're just sitting down trying to do something but you're not concentrating, it's not just coming out, you're not getting the flow. It might be a sign that you may need to just go and drink water or eat something. You want to do cardiovascular exercises. Okay, take a walk on a regular basis, like every day or every 3 or 4 days. Do some workouts like strength training at least once a week. If you're going to do strength training, it's always good to consult your physician to be sure that your body system can take strength training, or to understand what level of strength training you need to take. Now, I mentioned before that you need to take regular breaks away from your desk at 90 minutes to 120 minutes, okay, during the workday. For those that work at home, many people jump out of bed and get into meetings. Now, While that looks convenient, while that looks convenient, it may also be detrimental because you may not feel fresh enough for the day. So, what people do that understand how to hack their energy physically is the moment they wake up, they go and take their bath and freshen up and they feel fresh for the day. As simple as that sounds, it gives you a boost for the day. Okay, we now go to the next energy dimension, which is, I'm sorry, my slide is not changing here. Okay, that's changed. The spiritual energy. So, you want to find purpose. You want to find answers to life's big question. Don't let it just be on your mind. Okay? You want to find people that can help you answer those questions. You want to understand your purpose in life. Why are you here? Okay, what can you do to contribute your best to live a life of no regrets? When you find that purpose, you begin to live more meaningful life. You want to identify things that give you feelings of effectiveness. There are some people that when you ask them to create a budget, it's very easy for them to create a budget. It comes naturally for them. But when you ask the same person to create a schedule for a project, the person can take 3 days because he doesn't know where to start from. Now, the thought of doing that activity drains the person. Now, what you can do is delegate. Delegate that activity to somebody who can do it very professionally. You may not know, so all you need to do is ask. Ask questions. Sometimes you may find out that you may even need to pay a token to somebody who will do it for you. And you get on with your life. You have more energy for things you're good at. So this comes to a point here that you need to allocate your time and energy for meaningful work, things you consider to be very important, and things you know that are less meaningful for you. You ignore them if they would not hurt you or anybody, or pass them on to some other persons who will do them happily, who are good at them. You want to live your core values. For some people, their core value is family. If your core value is family, then you want to be faithful to your wife and care for your children. Some people will say their core value is family, but they don't really care about their wife and children. They rather hop into bed with different people, even looking for people that are married with that are married and have their own spouses. Now, such a person would not be living his core value. If the person has trust and integrity and family as core values, the person is living against those core values. The person will not be congruent. The person will not be internally aligned. The person would always find out that his conscience will be plaguing him. And if the person eventually manages to kill or silence that conscience, the person is not living any life of moral value. So congruency is the goal. We need to be able to identify our core values and then align our life with those core values. Now, on to the last hack, energy management hack for social or relational energy. No doubt you'll agree with me that people are the lifeblood of any organization. People are the lifeblood of family. People are the lifeblood of the society. Take away the people, you don't have the organization. Machines will not run themselves. Maintenance will not plan itself. Results will not come automatically. Take away the people, you don't have a society. So for us to get the energy that derive from meaningful connections, we need to cultivate it ourselves. We need to find means and ways to connect with people, family and friends, colleagues at work at deeper levels, not just the hi, hello. What do you know about family members? What do you know about colleagues? What's going on in their lives? Are you able to help them? When you see a colleague is struggling with certain things at work, something that you have been through, something you are good at, something that just comes to you readily, do you continue to watch the person struggle, or do you come and tell the person, hey, let me take 5 minutes or 10 minutes to show you how you can do this thing? If you do it like this, you become super productive, and the person spends less time doing certain tasks that the person would otherwise have spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. Now, when you're able to help people, you're able to connect with them at deeper levels. When you're able to spend time listening to people, actually, people are advised to be swift or very quick to listen to people and be slow to speaking. Now, why is that a very sound advice? Because when you're able to listen well to people, you're able to connect with them, you're able to put yourself in their shoes, you're able to reflect empathy. And when you do, you're able to connect with them at deeper levels or at emotional levels. And that is what strengthens or solidifies relationships with colleagues at work, with family and friends. Find opportunities to create memorable moments together. Even with everyday interactions, we can create memorable moments. When you chat with people, when you speak with them on the phone, do you speak with them and they become drained? Or do you speak with them and they feel energized? Do they feel happy after talking with you? Now, people who are experts in human relationships used to say, our lives are disintegrated or integrated one conversation at a time. Meaning that when you have meaningful conversations that energize you, it builds you up. When you have a conversation that is not so wholesome, that is not upbuilding, it tears the person down and the person begins to have low energy. So it's your choice. What do you want to do with your conversations? Do you want to uplift people? Do you want to upbuild them? I believe you want to make it your goal or your aim to uplift people with the conversations and interactions that you have. Let people be able to point to you as a real friend capable of listening and providing support at times when it is needed. It is now time for us to take our next poll, poll number 3. Having discussed all the 5 dimensions, the things that drain our energy, and how we can activate our energy levels, which energy dimension would you want to work on improving? Which energy dimension would you work on improving?
Please vote. We have 50 seconds more. Please vote. Only 20 people have voted.
Thank you very much as you vote to tell us what you want to do, because this is a call for action. This is this is your opportunity
Okay, I'll stop the voting in 5 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one, zero. Thank you very much. Casey, can you analyze the results, please?
Wow, this is interesting. So we are seeing a result here that shows that 9% of us want to work on our physical energy, 26% of us want to work on our emotional energy, 21% of us want to work on our social relational energy, 37% of us, that's a significant number, want to work on our mental energy, on focus. Wow. And 7% want to work on their spiritual energy. This is very, very commendable. I want to really thank all of you for indicating what you want to do with what you have learned. Okay. Now, it's important to hear from all of us in the session. I want you to raise your hand if you regularly exercise, if you have a program of regularly taking a walk or doing an exercise. I want to see the hands, please. 15 hands, 17 hands, 19, 20. Wow. 21. That's commendable. That is very commendable. Very commendable. So it's clear, very good. Now this result matches. It's congruent. It's it aligns with the number we saw in terms of what people want to do. A lot of people want to work on their mental energy, on focus. It is my hope and believe that you are going to you're going because you have all it takes to drive the right focus. Of course, the fact that 37% says they want to work on mental does not mean that that's the only place people want to work on. So some people want to work on their physical energy, some people want to work on their emotional, social energy. Regardless of which energy you choose to work on, it is clear from the program we have just had that you can manage your personal energy by noticing your energy level, building a program that can allow you physically exercise, manage your mental energy, your spiritual, your emotional, as well as your um, physical energy. Now, you can manage all the forms of energy that we have identified, right? Your emotional, your mental, your physical, your spiritual, as well as your social relational energy.
Social.
Now, now you need to create your priority. So now that you know all of these forms of energy, indicate which one is the most important one, which one is the next one, and all of that. As you line it up, you manage it accordingly, and make sure that when you're working and you're in the flow of your work, do not let anything distract you or sway you from your focus until you get your task done. That way, you save valuable time, because remember, when you lose your time, you cannot renew it. But when your energy wanes or reduces, you can renew it. As we have learned so many things we can do to renew your personal energy. I'll leave you with a beautiful quote on a final note from two people who did a lot of work on energy projects. Their names are Tony Schwartz and Catherine McCarthy. They published their work in a Harvard Business Review um, publication titled Manage Your Energy, Not Your Time. They said the science of stamina has advanced to the point where individuals, teams, and whole organizations can, with some interventions, as we have learned, significantly increase their capacity to get things done. Time is a limited resource, but personal energy is renewable. And I believe you now know how to notice your energy levels and how to renew it because it gives you the stamina to continually deliver exceptional performance both at home and in the workplace. Thank you very much. With this, we can take the final pause to conclude the session where we analyze our takeaways. We'll repeat the polls that we had at the beginning and understand how our responses will be now. So remember, some people said they are not sure of their consciousness of energy levels through the course of the day. So now, can you vote to show if you now know how to check the energy levels as you go through each day? Do you now know how you can watch out for your energy levels? True, false, or still not sure? Okay, so for anybody not sure, you can put your questions in the question box to help us drive clarity as we take questions to understand where we need to clarify for you. Wow, this is commendable. 80% are now sure, which is an improvement versus 66% at the beginning. That's that's significant improvement. Okay, so 8% say they do not know still, and 18%, 8% say they do not know, 18% say they are not sure. Now remember, and I can understand, this is new information for some people. For some people, it's deeper than what they used to know. So you need to now consciously practice these things you have learned to be able to say for sure whether you're able to monitor and act on it or not. So yes, we would give you the opportunity um, to practice, and feel free to connect with me via any of my handles to, you know, share your thoughts or experiences or ask questions when in practice you find anything challenging. I'm happy to help. Okay. Wow. Okay. So this is almost 100%. 98% say now they can determine when they feel drained or lack energy, and they now know what they can do to regain their personal energy. Malam, I think this indicates that this training was effective. Thank you all
Exactly.
for paying attention and for taking note of what you can do to become very familiar with your energy levels and for knowing what you can do to raise it. It has served me very well, and most leaders like Malam and several people who have been successful in their careers are people who have practiced this and can tell you how it has helped them in so many ways. So I leave you with something interesting that is new to the world. People used to talk about different intelligences, they've talked about emotional intelligence. Now we are talking about personal energy intelligence. You can now be certified as personal energy intelligent. You know and understand what personal energy levels are and what you can do to renew it and drive exceptional performance through it. Now, there's a question in the box which I want to answer very quickly, a very important and interesting question. Babatunde
We can't
Jimo
see the
said,
question now. Oh, okay, okay. The Q&A.
yes, in Q&A. Babatunde
So.
Jimo. Okay. Babatunde Jimo said, how do leaders or managers help a worker who is always negative in his or her reasonings, who most of the time influence others with such negative energy? Okay. First of all, it's important to take your organization as a leader or manager through this kind of training. I am sure if you call for this kind of training, you're going to get it. And it's going to help people around you in your team to to know what negative energies are, how to understand them, how to avoid them, and how to radiate positive energy to counteract those negative energies. Now, the other thing you need to know is that once you have created this awareness, because when people are not aware, they say knowledge is power. When they are not aware, they are not able to even do what you expect of them. So they are not aware of their personal energy levels. They don't know how what others do resonates to them and with them. They're not able to deflect it. They're not able to overcome negative with their own positive. Then they are influenced by a stronger negative emotion. Now, so that is for your team. You need to train them. You need to help them understand how to be aware and how to react, how to be intelligent, how to be personal energy intelligent. The other thing you need to do is to also check what is going on with that person who is exhibiting that negativity. What I have noticed, and from the poll result that we see with a lot of people talking about mental health, it is a huge challenge that a lot of people are not paying attention to. Mental health is a challenge. I repeat, mental health is a challenge. It has been before the advent of COVID 19. The advent of COVID 19 has worsened it. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not conscious or aware of these mental health issues, and so they're not helping people with it. When you discover that somebody is negative, and no matter what you do to encourage or help the person continues to radiate negativity, you may need to get the person to see a professional or a specialist that deals with mental health issues. Now, the problem is that when people hear mental health, they think of psychiatry, they think of Yaba left. That is wrong. It is not psychiatry or seeing a professional is not a taboo, it's not a bad thing. It's in fact the best course of action to see somebody who is a mental health professional. Some companies like Upfield, like Procter and Gamble, Unilever, and some other big multinationals, they have programs with mental health management experts or professionals who have an open line to allow people come to them when they're having issues with family, issues with other things that are affecting their mental health that's making them imbalanced, that are making them behave irrationally, speak irrationally, or behave in ways that they themselves are not aware of, that is terrible, but others are seeing it as negative. So, in summary, you need to make your team aware. You need to radiate positivity that would, help the team itself, and you need to help that person understand what the underlying issue is and get professional help. Malam, I saw an indication that you would love to say something. Do you want to add or build on that? Okay. All right. So I move on to the next question that has popped up. It's from Johnson Uzoma. He asks, how do you encourage subordinates to deliver better results? Awesome question. From what we have mentioned in the training, you need to connect with your subordinates emotionally. You need to connect with your subordinates emotionally. They need to see that you have their best interest at heart. They need to see that you're ready to help them. You need to create the forum where you listen to them, understand their challenges, and help them overcome that challenge. You see, when you break barrier for your people, they will break barriers for you. They will do the work for you when you're not there and they will show you the results. I can tell you this from my different assignments that I've done, from projects to engineering to operations to supply chain. When you're able to be socially aware, connect with your people, express gratitude, find way to commend them for the specific thing they have done that is great. Give them feedback, constructive feedback. Tell them what they can do to improve. Tell them what you have observed. Tell them your own experiences. How did you grow? How did you get to where you are? They want to know so that they can learn from you. When they see that you have their best interest at heart, you're able to connect with them on an emotional level, then you can get the best results from them. You can also get good results by being aware of your own emotions. Do you express how you feel to your people? When you feel sad, do you tell them that you're sad and why you're sad? Do you tell them when you're happy and why you're happy? When they see you expressing those emotions, they can also express their emotions. And then you can understand what they're going through. Emotions that may be creating some barriers to their performance. Okay, and then you can help them. That's very, very important. All right. Ifeanyi Chukwu Nwafo asks a question. How do you help a subordinate who always sees the small picture of things to start seeing the bigger picture, which helps in decision making? Very good question. Now, you see, your ability to paint the big picture in an exciting and compelling way matters a lot. So you want to ask yourself, how do you feel at the time you're trying to convey the big picture idea to your subordinates? Do you feel tired? Are you tired at the time you are expressing those vision, those you're trying to envision them? Do you even believe in the vision? Do you truly understand the vision? When you believe in a vision and you see the big picture, you understand it, you can articulate it well, then painting it in an exciting way that would get the buy-in of your subordinates would not then be an issue, because people see you how you radiate your energy than you see yourself. So when you are saying something and you don't believe in what you're saying, the people seeing you or listening to you will know that this person is just scamming us. They would know that this person is just fronting. They will know that this person does not believe in this vision or this picture that he's painting. And so they will remain in their small bubble and not bust it to come into your own bubble and share your thoughts with you. So the other thing you can do is also try to understand if there's an underlying challenge of that subordinate. Because if you go with the best emotions, the best understanding, you're clear, and you show the person what the person needs to understand, and yet the person does not understand it, you need to understand that person's energy level. So it requires connection, resonance. Is the person resonating at the same frequency as you are? Is he on the same page with you? Now, if the person has underlying problems, maybe the wife has not been doing what she needs to do at home, or the husband has not been performing, or she just discovered that Maybe her husband has been playing away match and it's affecting her at that time. Or maybe there's one side chick that has, you know, handed him a fast one, maybe eloped with something precious, and he's thinking how he's going to recover or how he's going to tell his wife, and all of that is distracting him. He's mentally not ready for what you want to share at that time. So, how will the person tune into what you're saying and be on the same page? The person will never tune in. Person will always be out. So when you notice that somebody is not getting or not getting what you're saying and is not at the same frequency as you are, try to stop that discussion, stop sharing what you want to share, and that is now the time to listen and ask questions and say, hey, I realize that what I'm saying doesn't seem to make sense to you. What is the challenge? Is there a problem? Is there something I can help you with? You know, what's really going on? Tell me. I'm ready to help. When the person senses that genuinely you want to listen, you will not know when you probably would have talked for 1 hour trying to understand what that person is going through. And maybe by the end, just by expressing himself and sharing his feelings and thoughts, you would connect at a social, relational level. And by expressing empathy, the person feels better that he has been able to say out what has been bothering him or her and begins to now turn attention to now listen to you. Okay, so this is one way you can do this. Now, if you have done this consistently for some time and it's still happening the same way with the same person, please help the person to see a professional. Okay, help the person see a professional because, as I mentioned before, mental health challenge or issues is real. It's everywhere around us, but we fail to see them. So, when you're energy aware, when you're personally energy, when you have personal energy intelligence, you'll be able to sense your personal energy and other people's personal energy and understand when you can advise them to see a professional or when you can help them if it's in your capacity to do so.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
There is no more question.
Thank you for the questions. 3 questions.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you very much, Casey, for this wonderful session that you have given to us. Um, and I do hope and pray that everybody who has been part of this class has learned a lot. I have learned personally that for me, my physical energy, I always think that I'm very strong, physically. But at the same time, I know that there are many times that I feel very weak. And I also feel, again, that I do not have time to exercise. So most of the time, I'm in a catch-22 situation. I'm working very hard. I feel tired. But at the same time, I feel that I do not have that time to leave the work to go and exercise. But I think after today, I will have to set out a program somehow for me to exercise, even if it's a long walk, even if it's a long walk away from work, exercise every day if I can. And if I find it difficult to do, I will come back to you, Casey, for coaching and mentorship on
Yeah,
this, because I need
yeah,
it.
yes, Malam. I just saw your comment that you need to work out 120%. That's very key.
Exactly. I am not
That's
doing it
very
at
key.
all.
That's very key. So, Malama, if you just
Thank you
permit
very
me,
much.
I just saw one question in the comments. I'm sure Godson did not see
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
the
ahead.
instruction about Q&A.
Go
Godson
ahead.
Nabugu says, how can you prioritize and work effectively when you work closely with 3 managers that are demanding?
You demand
So,
again.
so let me imagine that these 3 managers are at the same work level and you directly report to maybe one and indirectly report to two. Or maybe you have dotted line to the three and you're just in the middle. Um, it's a very tough situation to be in. But one thing that has worked for people that have been in this situation is that they lay out on the table the various things they need to do. And they, after itemizing from each manager what is important. So you go to the first manager, manager A, he lists all his priorities, manager B, he lists all his priorities, manager C, she lists all her priorities. So you have three sets of priorities. You look at all of them. Some are connected, some are disjointed. They are not connected, they are conflicting, in fact. What you can do is to create a work plan out of all of that and call it a proposal and call for a meeting with the three of them. And in the agenda, you tell them clearly that you have received three priorities, some are conflicting, you want to align them. Because when you go and align them one by one with each person, you can never come out with an alignment because each person will insist that his own makes the most sense and needs to be done first. Except in some cases where you have some reasonable managers or leaders who would look at everything with you one on one and say, okay, deprioritize something from my list. But it's in a room with the three of them that you flash all the priorities and ask them to, with the business interest at heart, because at the end, all of them should have the same business interest or business goal. Their priorities cannot be in conflict with the overall business goal. So if they have the overall business goal at heart, then they need to determine which of all of these priorities helps us meet the business goal first, which of them next. So together, all of the four of you will now craft your work plan and align it and say, these are the priorities, this is the timeline. Once that is clear, you've gotten your vacation to work. Vacation to work is that it's not vacation, go and sleep, but you have your freedom to do your work and report back when you need help or when you're done, versus people following up on you, distracting you from doing your core work and delivering the required business results. So, as I mentioned, this is a tried and trusted technique. If the three of them refuse to meet, then you need to escalate and go to the next person they all report to or different people and ask for help. But you need to be clear that you have made several attempts to bring them together and they are refusing to come together. It means there are ego problems. They are radiating terrible energies at the workplace that you cannot deal with. And it's not in your place to try to deal with it because you'll be caught in the middle. Okay. So that is something you can do. Try it. And if it doesn't work out, we can have a one-on-one coaching session where we can take it from there. Okay, Malam, over to you now.
Thank you very much, Casey. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Our time is fast spent. Um, we will not be able to take any more poll questions again. So we'll just round up. We will just round up. Our next webinar session will be a paid one. Will be a paid webinar. It will be coming up on October the 10th at the same time, West Africa time, 2 p.m. And it is open to everybody. The advert is already out. The link for registration is already out. This time around, it is a combined link for registration and payment. So unlike our previous webinars, this particular link, this particular webinar comes with a link that you register. You can pay from anywhere around the world in any currency, and the system will convert it to Naira. We get it in Naira. The topic of that paid webinar is asset risk analysis, and another very critical aspect of our jobs as engineers. This time around, it is going to be hardcore maintenance and reliability engineering. So tell your friends, everybody who wants to understand how to apply themselves, like Casey has said in his webinar presentation, and the previous webinar on time management. Time is limited, energy is also limited. The same way, you are also limited in the management of your assets. The resources that you have at your disposal are limited. How can you tell that this asset requires more attention than another asset? So this is what we are going to be talking about: identifying critical assets and applying the appropriate amount of energy to critical assets. That is not to say that you disregard all the other assets that are not critical, but you pay more attention to critical assets. And that's in line with the very popular Pareto principle, where you get the best of your results from identifying the critical few. That is the 20% for 80%. That webinar will be presented by me, my humble self, and we wish to meet you on that day, October 10th. We have answered all the questions that have been thrown at us today on the topic of the presentation. If you have any more questions, no problem. You can send questions by SMS or WhatsApp to any of these phone numbers here. You can send also by email. If you have any other inquiry whatsoever, you can send by email. If you have inquiries relating to any other kind of training that we offer, or you think that we may be able to offer for you as an individual or for your business, please do an email or chat us up on WhatsApp. We are very active on WhatsApp, and we mostly prefer to start discussions on WhatsApp. It's easier for us on the go. So if you also want any other M&R services that we offer, like performance assessments for your plants and processes, we can audit your plants and processes, your systems, to determine if your system, your assets, your processes are adequate as they are today against some certain standards. We will audit and give you the very glaring gaps, and then we work with you to help close the gaps by generating a CAPA, corrective and preventive action plan, and we work through it. We do capability assessments, meaning that we can come into your business and do assessment of your people sitting in different positions to identify whether you have key people in key positions, whether you have the right person in the right positions. And the essence is to identify the gaps that the people have for the positions that they hold, so that we can be able to help you close these gaps. Any other services like fixed asset verification, we also can come in and identify all your fixed assets wherever they are, update your fixed asset register if you have one. If you don't have any, we can build fixed asset registers for you and show you the relationship between the child and mother asset, and then of course grandmother assets in their different locations, create asset codes, and of course we physically go and place these asset codes on them. We also do project management, where we help you for very critical and big projects that you have. We help you supervise them to ensure that project requirements that are related to quality, maintenance, and reliability are upheld from the beginning to the end. So we help you create M&R requirements for your big projects, installation, buying equipment. We help you make buying decisions, and we help you work with whatever contractors that you have working on site, ensure that they do what is right, that will give you the best value for the requirements that you wanted from ab initio from that project. So thank you very much, all of you, for joining us from wherever you have joined us today. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you very much, and see you again on October the 10th. Please go out and register for that webinar. Check our social media accounts, like I have said before. Follow up all our social media accounts, and just search Bainer, and you will see. Follow them up. You'll see all our adverts there. Visit our pages, like, subscribe, and share whatever that interests you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kelechi, for this wonderful session. Thank you, all the staff of BCA Africa and better maintenance and reliability. Thank you, KC. Thank you, and
You're
good night.
welcome.
Thank you.